Mycology is the branch of biology concerned with the study of fungi, including their genetic and biochemical properties, their taxonomy, and their use to humans as a source for tinder, traditional medicine, food, and entheogens, as well as their dangers, such as toxicity or infection. Mycology is the discipline of biology that describes and studies a very vast group of organisms denominated fungi. This group contains around 90,000 species, and thousands are described every year, being estimated that there might be more than 1 million fungal species in the world, which makes the fungal kingdom one of the most important in the tree of life. Fungi are very variable, because they include both macroscopic, such as mushrooms, truffles and puffballs, and microscopic organisms. All of them share some common characteristics. They are non-motile heterotrophic eukaryotes that possess a cell wall around the cell, which differs from the cell wall of plants because it contains different components, mainly chitin. Most fungi can reproduce by both sexual and asexual reproduction. Although we are not aware of it, fungi have a great impact in our daily habits, and our society and way of living would be very different in the absence of these organisms. Fungi are widely found in the environment, and they have multiple beneficial effects and applications. But these organisms are also the cause of devastating plagues and diseases, so their control is mandatory in agriculture and biomedicine. History of mycology. Until the 1800s, it was assumed that fungi were simply a different kind of plant. Mushrooms, the reproductive bodies of fungi, were eaten, used as medicine, and used for their hallucinogenic effects since antiquity. Many classic Greek philosophers and naturalists considered fungi, but still assumed they were more related to plants. By the mid-1800s the microscope was invented, and scientists began to examine the inner workings of fungi. Microscopes revealed that fungi had distinct features, separate from both plants and animal cells. The term mycology was coined in 1836 in a paper by M.J. Berkeley, when fungi were beginning to be recognized as their own unique kingdom. However, it was not until the advent of modern biochemistry and DNA analysis that it was fully realized how different fungi were. Instead of a cell wall made of cellulose, the wall in fungi is composed of glucans and chitin, molecules found in plants and insects, respectively. Instead of having a single nucleus, like most plants and animals, fungi are often multinucleated and contain special pores allowing the cytoplasm and nucleus to flow freely between various chambers in the fungal organism. DNA analysis revealed a closer relation to animals than plants. As scientists observed fungal life cycles further, they realized that the majority of most fungi spends its time as a mold or ooze. This multicellular lifeform moves its way through decaying organic material, utilizing the minerals and organic molecules as it goes. Not only was fungi the major decomposing organism in the world, scientists also determined that certain fungi were responsible for events like fermentation and crop diseases. With this, the field of mycology exploded. Agricultural mycology focuses on utilizing and controlling fungi in commercial crops. Toxicologists study mushroom and fungi for compounds which adversely affect other organisms. Pharmaceutical companies race to extract useful compounds from mushrooms. Careers in mycology are as diverse and complex as the field itself. Some general characteristics of fungi include: eukaryotic, do not make their own food, lack chlorophyll, cell has a cell wall, heterotrophs, use sexual and asexual modes of reproduction, depending on the species. Basidiomycota, members of this phylum are either parasite of plants and animals or saprotrophs. They can be found in both aquatic and terrestrial environments and produce spores that go through meiosis. Basidiomycota, most of the fungi in this group are anaerobic in nature. They can be found in the digestive tract of large herbivores, and zoospores move through the use of flagella. Mycological, members of this phylum form a symbiotic relationship with various plants and trees. As such, they are not necessarily parasites that fully depend on the host. The majority of the species reproduce asexually. Zygomycota, this is a relatively small group made up of organisms that are referred to as saprobes. As such, they largely depend on decaying organic material as the source of energy. A few species, however, are parasitic in nature. Zygomycetes reproduce asexually and produce zygospores. Although species like R. stolonifer obtain their energy from decaying matter, e.g. bread, they cause food spoilage and can cause diseases. Basidiomycota, known as club fungi, this phylum is largely composed of mushrooms, smut fungi, and rust. The majority of Basidiomycetes are pathogens of grains and tend to produce sexually. Spores of Basidiomycetes are referred to as basidiospores. Ascomycota, also known as sac fungi, members of Ascomycota include mushrooms, yeast, truffles, and morels. A majority are filamentous that either exist as parasites or saprophytes. However, they can also form symbiotic relationships with other organisms. They produce sexually and asexually. Chitradimicoda, members of this group are also known as chitrids and produce spores known as zoospores. In aquatic environments, these organisms move using a flagellum and reproduce asexually.